5, 4, 3.
Welcome, everyone, and pull up a seat at the table. It's Lunchtime in Rome. Tonight's episode 250 is entitled Rachel Returns.
Yay!
We get to spend an hour at the table this evening with Rachel. We've only heard about her through Jay. How is she? What's new? That's what we're talking about at the table this evening. So pull up a seat and join us. First-time listeners can subscribe on your favorite podcast app or watch us live or later at youtube.com/lunchtime in Rome. Visit us at lunchtimeinrome.com. And while there, you can take our relational needs questionnaire. Make sure to follow us on all social media, and it would be great if you gave us a 5-star review. Jay, what specifically is
Being
the
alone is the
podcast?
worst. Good times aren't as good, and bad times are worse when you're all alone. Romans 12:15 says to rejoice with those who rejoice and mourn with those who mourn. That is how you keep people from being alone, and what this podcast is all about. We demonstrate that in the first 15 minutes of the podcast. We talk about it for the rest. While it may not be 12:15 in Rome, we're treating it like it is.
Thunderstorm in Rome.
Echo.
Yeah. Sorry about that last week.
My fault. My
everybody. There was a little bit of an echo, so apologize for that.
Rachel's already annoyed with me.
Jake, do you think you could do your part by memory by now?
Sure.
Yeah.
Choose not to.
Well, I couldn't do that. So Amy and I went for a little weekend away.
Yes.
Childless, we dropped her off at my parents. Shout out to my parents. Big thank you for taking Maggie for the weekend. And we went to Hocking Hill, Ohio. And wow, like really, really pretty.
It's the week of the hawk.
And just like gorgeous caves, gorgeous outdoors. It's kind of like Ohio Pow on steroids.
Hop.
And we spent the day hiking and sweating because it was like 96 degrees.
It was hot.
We were drinking water and liquid IV all day. But it was great. Great trip. And one thing I wanted to call out. So
Call out what? Chris isn't
Are you
here?
Chris?
Oh, I get it.
What? I don't get it.
Brian?
I get it.
Call out. Okay, yeah, I got it now. Okay, got it.
First of all, Chris is on vacation.
Chris is on vacation.
Chris is on vacation. Yes.
Yay.
Ochre Coke, ever heard of it?
Yes.
And every once in a while he says, hey, let's call out, which I don't
Right.
like because that's not what a word people normally use.
Yeah. And we got there Friday night. We did there was a private trail right near where we were staying, which was really cool because it was just like secluded to the campground that we were at. And we stayed at it was like a nice cabin. It was like if IKEA made a cabin, this was it. Yeah. And
Were there pet stains on the carpets?
no, this place was like immaculately clean. It was great.
The faucets turned and ran?
Yes.
Oh, smoke alarms
Although
on the
the-
ceiling.
Although the shower at times would just go down to a trickle.
Ooh.
I mean, but then it would come back. You don't know. Anyway, so the second day we hiked all day, did like 4 different trails.
Pictures look great.
It was awesome. It was really, really cool. And that night we wanted to go out on a date. So we picked a place. If you're familiar with the Oakmont area here near Pittsburgh, we picked a place that kind of looked like the lot. Like it had that kind of vibe.
Yeah, cool place.
Yeah, nice. We'll get to that. And we get there. They ask us if we have a reservation. No, we don't. He said, well, if we have an extra table outside, you can sit out there now, or it's an hour and a half wait.
Did you say it? We're from Pittsburgh?
No. I mean, this place was bumping. Like it looked like there were 4 brides there with like all their groups. I mean, it was,
This was Friday night.
Yeah, no, this was Saturday night. And like it looked like new. So like it was like the new hot place to go, the new hot place to take, dates and do wedding bridal parties and all that kind of stuff.
Like Olive Garden?
No, like the lot in Oakmont.
All right.
And so we sit down and we're looking at the menu. There's a tomahawk pork chop.
Oh, yeah.
And I was eyeing that up. Amy was eyeing up some scallops, and 5 minutes goes by, nobody comes by to
They're
greet
busy.
us.
They're
They're
busy.
busy. Okay. 10 minutes goes by, and I'm like,
Oof.
all right, what do you want to do here, hun? Like, do you want to stay? Because at this point, if it's this long for somebody to come over and greet us and get our drink order,
It's a 2-hour dinner.
yeah, which, whatever, we're out, but we're also hungry. We just hiked
Yeah.
all day. So we were looking at nearby places, and we made the decision, like after like 15, 20 minutes or whatever, to we'll just walk out, whatever. Whatever. I get it.
So
You're
nobody even
busy.
made eye contact with you?
No, and there were
or,
people, like there were other servers like around us, like they knew we were there. We had menus, like we didn't
But
have
it's
food.
funny knowing Bella now, how Bella seated somebody and didn't tell any server. So that very easily could have been happening. So
Yeah,
we'll make
sure.
an exception. And
Sure.
everybody's like, oh, it's somebody else's customer.
So we looked at some other options, and there was this place called Maya, and we're like, it looked like kind of like a bougie burrito place, like hot, cool place, hot, cool place.
hot, cool
you know what I mean.
Right.
And we go and we walk up, and we're like, yeah, this doesn't really look like the pictures. It was more like a taco stand restaurant. Like it wasn't like, it looked really nice from the outside. Like the sign was really pretty, and I'm sure they had great food, but it just wasn't like what we were looking for.
Is it the town of Hocking Hills?
This was in
or
Logan, Ohio.
Logan, Ohio.
yeah,
So that's
which
like
is-
the closest big.
Yeah,
bigger-
like the like the closest town, and it was nice. It was a really cute little town, and so we're like, well, there's the Irish pub like 2 doors down, and we always end up at an Irish pub somehow.
can't go wrong with that.
And like it's funny because like when I look back, I'm like, this is just how God wanted it to be, So we we get to the Irish pub. Guys at the bar, and I'm like, do we just seat ourselves? He said, yep, grab a seat anywhere. We sit down. He comes over. Amy wants a Moscow Mule, and he's like, do you want a Moscow Mule or an Irish Moscow Mule? She gets an Irish Moscow Mule.
Ooh,
and
what's
then
an Irish Moscow?
it's with whiskey instead of vodka, I believe.
Say it, Rachel.
Yeah.
But
The guy was awesome, super nice. I got a tangerine IPA, brought him right over. I said, can we see a menu? He said, and he said, well,
while your blood sugar is dropping.
he said, and I looked at like the pictures of the food. The food looked awesome from what we saw, in reviews and whatnot. And he said, well, normally we have like a food truck for that, like for our kitchen, and they do a great job. However, on a day like this, it's like 115 degrees in the food truck, and it's just just not doable. I said, I understand. But he said, if you want to order from any place around here and bring it, in, that's totally fine with us. We don't care. I was like,
So that's really nice because a lot
Yeah.
of places won't let you do that.
yeah.
So you said we're gonna order from the place that reminds us of the lot.
That was off the list. He recommended this Pizza Crossing was the name of it, and we got
Gyro shop.
we got a buffalo chicken pizza and a steak cheddar hoagie, which was delicious. But the drinks were amazing. The service was awesome. There was live music,
Aw.
and it
Perfect
was just
night.
it was a perfect night. It was awesome,
Especially
Like,
because it gave you a story, too.
yeah, right. It was like it was just so funny, and we just went on a little adventure, and it was
Yeah.
awesome. But great weekend. Great weekend away. We had great conversations of like financial goals and emotional needs and stuff and all that kind of stuff. And it was just a time that we just haven't had in the past 6 months to just talk and because it's a little under 4 hours to get out there. So a lot of car time. So we talked a lot, listened to some podcasts, and it was just a great trip.
It was exactly what you needed, and it's exactly what you got.
Yeah.
And that's rare.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And on the way home, but still like out in that area, we stopped at this, it was like an antique shop, but like multiple antique shops, multiple vendors, and they had a disc golf store, and the lady was awesome. She was telling she was telling me about her story. Did I tell you about this? So she's been playing since the 80s.
Woof.
And
What's her name?
I can't remember.
Chris Dates.
Wow.
Burn. And she was talking about how she got started, and she started out of like a storage container selling discs and whatnot. And
In the 80s.
no, this was like more recent because she used to deliver papers. That was her gig, and she talked to her husband. She was like, I think it's time I can't do this anymore.
Like newspapers?
Yeah,
Like
and-
at 4 a.m,
Yeah.
picking up your bundle and
She's like, I can't do this anymore. And he's like, what do you want to do? She's like, I think it's time for me to open up my own shop. Because at home, she has like 700 some odd discs.
Wow.
So he's like, okay. So she started her business in a storage container. And I was like, when did you start like selling discs and starting your business? She said 2019.
There
and
you
I was
go.
like, no way. I was like, you hit it
Yes.
right
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
on target, because it just exploded over COVID.
Yep.
And she now has 2 stores.
Aw.
And she still does some stuff out of the storage container, but when she said like they made all the stores closed down, she just packed up her van, went to all the different disc golf courses, and
Love
just sold
that.
out of her van, just hustled. And it was awesome. Like she had signed discs from like Paul Ulibarri, and
You didn't buy it for me?
it wasn't for sale. I asked.
Aw.
Yeah, I asked. She was
Everything's
like-
for sale,
She was
Eric.
like, "That's my collection." yeah. She was like, "That's my collection. I can't part with it," because she goes to live events and she's like, she's in it, man.
Does she want the Paul Macbeth signed?
You could probably
Luna
reach.
that I
You,
asked.
you could
Yes,
probably reach out
yes,
to her and
yeah.
get something for it. Yeah, but yeah, she was real cool, and it was cool just to shop around there. Amy got some things for church.
Aw.
You know, but
Well, and
it was
Amy
great.
played 9 holes of disc golf.
She
correct?
did for the first time,
Yeah,
and that
yay.
was fun. And you know, she enjoyed it. I don't think she's going to get a bag anytime soon, but I think she'd come out. You know, but yeah, that was fun. That was a gorgeous course. It was only the back 9 was closed. They were doing maintenance on it, but man, it was gorgeous. Well, like my favorite style, like in the woods. And, yeah, it was really cool.
Like pine trees and stuff? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, like a nice shot. I'll show you a picture later, but like just a tee pad looking over like a ravine, basket up on the other side, just straight through this like perfect line of trees on either side. It was,
Is that the
it
one
was
from the
awesome.
UDisc page that you showed me? Either way.
It's
Yeah.
yeah,
Signature
probably.
hole.
Yeah. It's just beautiful. So
Man.
that's my update.
That's
Good
awesome.
update. You know, yeah, it was good.
Yeah, that is good to hear because it seems like over the beginning of this year there was a lot of updates where it was like
yeah, it's-
struggling.
Yeah, we're just getting through it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I got something weighing on my shoulders.
yeah. It was just nice to get out. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Speaking of disc golf, the other day it occurred to me Rachel and I are going away for our 25th anniversary vacation next week.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
And once we get back, 5 days later, Joe leaves for his ROTC camp, which takes us to the end of the summer.
So he's gone for a month.
6 weeks.
In a month.
What?
Isn't it like 6 weeks in a month somehow?
Oh, yeah. I thought he left July 18th and he gets done August 18th, and that's 6 weeks. And I was like, well, that doesn't make any sense. But he's leaving the 15th, and somehow it's still 6 weeks.
Okay.
But I was like, wait a minute. As much as we've really been enjoying having Joe and Bella around all the time, we've gotten used to it already, and it's fun and it's funny, and they're both happy and they're both in a good place. What?
Oh, just funny stories of the children as of late. Oh, can I tell them?
Sure.
Okay, well, go ahead, finish yours.
All right. I realized, wow, like our family summer is wrapping up and it's still June.
Oh yeah.
And so yesterday, both kids were off until afternoon.
Maybe it is true what Jan says after the 4th of July. I mean, not,
Summer's
even,
over.
not even after the
No.
4th of July yet, and summer's over.
No.
Once you hit June 20th. But I had the idea, and so Rachel and I and Joe and Bella got up early, and we drove up to Grove City to play Grove City's disc golf course. And Bella doesn't play, but did Joe pay her?
He's supposed to.
Yeah,
To
$10
caddy.
to caddy for him. And it was just great. It was great driving the way up, and we played disc golf, and then we went to the outlets for as long as Rachel could stand. So 45 minutes later,
Not even. We sat there and waited. You had a phone call, so we waited in the car while you finished your phone
What is the state of the outlets nowadays? Is it
It's
like,
full.
Is it still?
yeah, there might have been
Interesting.
one empty store.
So it's
And I
not,
feel
it's
like
not
if
like a mall.
you were a good shopper and you like shopping,
Yeah.
that
So
would be a
it's
great
still a
place to
legit
go.
thing to do.
Well, and it's
Yes.
like one of the only places up there to shop. So
Yeah,
you,
sure.
it's a
Nothing
draw.
else up
It's a
there.
draw.
Yeah.
But and then we were still home by 2:00, and it was just a fun day. Joe
Wow.
was hilarious, and
Did you go past the Pink Lady?
just on 79. But and by that you mean the painted lady.
Yes.
But other than that, life has been absolutely crazy. And I've shared with you guys some of the more personal stories. And it's not one of those times where it's like you feel like, oh, I'm under attack. I'm sure I am, but it's a very specific one where I'm getting super random people's problems and needing my help, needing my assistance, which is what I do. I'm in the business.
I feel like it's a time where you keep getting these little splinters. Like it's not annoying. Like it's not like you're being, you got a big gash. It's not.
Right.
It's
Or
you get a
Rachel's
little
line,
splinter.
death by 1,000 paper cuts.
Right.
But they're very specific. Like they're just so random. It's not like typical church problems or typical community problems. And it's the same people. It's just, and it's taxing and it's funny. Like you can just see it coming. You're like, oh, okay, that's what this is. You know, and then you get like two more. You're like, no, I already identified it. So they should stop now because I called you on it. I know what you're doing. And your heart breaks for each person. That's why it's emotionally exhausting. I mean, if I was dead and cold inside, I would just be like, not my problem.
Yeah.
But that's okay. And we leave next Thursday morning. And I've decided we're going to get a hotel at the airport, but there's so much backup in planes, blah, 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 blah. We're just going to go ahead and drive out, leave the car, and then Joe will come out with somebody else, pick it up, and just pay for like half a day's parking or whatever. Maybe Ben.
Yeah.
Or Brian.
Is Ben allowed to drive to
Whatever.
the airport? Can Ben find his way back from the airport?
Hard to say.
I'm excited for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a early birthday wish to you, Rachel. Happy birthday.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah, what are you turning?
29.
Exactly. No, I'll be 48. I don't care. I'm 48.
Right. That's right.
Met you when you were 20,
Yeah, that was a long time ago,
That was like, 15 years ago?
right?
at least.
Something
Yeah.
like that. I had a great weekend. Actually, Friday, Abby and I had a daddy-daughter day, and it started with taking her to her well checkup at the doctor's.
Aw.
But from that, so that was in East Liberty. But from there, we went down to Mount Washington. We went down to go up on Mount Washington, and we were up there, and I was kind of telling her about the, we're looking at the city, looking at different things around the city, and here's where the direction where we live. Here are the rivers, because we've never really done that. She's lived here 12, almost 13 years, and sorry, the mic's got a little bit of a buzz. And then when we're up there, I was like, so we're going someplace else. And I pointed down to the point. We went down to the point because we hadn't been to the point together. And
Man, what a day.
yeah.
And it was cold out.
it was freezing. It was so hot. It was so hot. She was, she got a little bit kind of hangry, but like she's super kind and nice. But she was still like, she had just drank like a Celsius drink, which is like it's got some caffeine in it.
Yeah.
and-
Crack water.
Yeah, and she hadn't really eaten anything during the day, and like I'm dragging her around like all these places, parking garages.
Look at this over here. Look at this over
Poor
here.
baby.
Like, she's like, I just.
But it
wanna
was
eat.
really cool because we hadn't done that. I hadn't been to the point in almost 20 years or whatever.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah, it had been a long time.
I mean, it is one of those things. Like, if you live here,
It's there.
it's there,
Right.
and like when people come to visit, you show them around. You do the incline. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it is a cool place.
But it was really cool to be able to do that with my daughter. And then we had she had won Pirate tickets, so we went and caught the first 2 innings of the ball game.
I didn't know that part.
Yeah, and I told her, I was like, look,
Were your seats in the sun?
it was just hot. It was hot anywhere
Yeah,
we went.
yeah.
We weren't in the sun by that point. But we had dinner in PNC Park, and I'd never really walked around PNC Park. I'd never just gone to
Oh, man.
walk, and that was the
It's
whole
awesome.
That was the
Yeah.
whole point of it. Like
Yeah.
I've been there multiple times, but it
It's
was
so
never
cool.
like, So we went and sat and ate by the river, and the food was good. We just had a really nice time. Watched 2 innings of the ball game, left, and it was actually really crowded. It was too crowded.
Did
Yeah.
you walk across the bridge?
No, but we talked about it, and then it was like, it's really hot.
It's
She's
really,
done a lot
really
of
hot.
walking.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a really, really, and then we came home, and she was swimming in the pool, and I was just sitting there with her, and it was a beautiful summer night, and she just kept saying as we're swimming, It is such a great day. It is such a
Aw.
great day.
Wow.
Such a great night.
Man, what a great dad moment that is.
Yeah.
It was
You
fantastic.
you just put a little mental snapshot on that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's a memory. That's awesome.
And then I went and played hockey. Kept my
Your
night
life
off.
rules.
Yeah, okay. It's not bad. I'm actually pretty drained right now because it hit me that, like, the past 3 weeks especially, I've been fighting internally on this project that I've been working on, and there's a lot going on, but I've been really pushing and advocating for my friend Kono in Long Island. Internally, politics, some of the people I'm working with, some of the decisions that are being made, and it's just been a slog, man. It's been a lot of pushing. Last week, I guess maybe 2 weeks ago, got into a pretty heated argument with some of my coworkers, people I like, and it's been a hard push. And I feel like over the last day, all of that pushing, I told Lex earlier tonight, I was like, I feel like after all of this pushing and, kind of tilling the ground, I'm seeing some of that fruit today. And it just kind of hit me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Things are moving.
great.
Things are moving in a direction that is good. But I was sitting there on the couch talking to her earlier this evening, right before dinner. And exhaustion. And it just kind of hit me that okay, I pushed through that, and now that's kind of catching up to me.
Aw.
You know what I mean? So, but anyway, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Did you take a nap? You hate naps.
I don't. Yeah, it doesn't happen.
Because you're sleeping better.
I am sleeping better.
Oh, yes.
My BiPAP machine.
Yay.
It's working.
You're dying fewer times every night.
Yeah, right.
Are you still at 0?
0.
0 episodes.
No, it's been consistent with 1.5, but that's
But
a
still.
big increase. That's a big decrease from probably 40.
Gosh.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
And before we get into Rachel, we do want to thank
Wait a second.
Marilyn. What?
Go ahead.
Marilyn, Ashley, Breaking 90, and Bethany for sitting at the head of the table. You too can sit at the head of the table by going to lunchtimeinrome.com and becoming a paid subscriber, which helps us get new cables like the ones Brian and Eric are working on right now. And it just helps us. It makes us feel supported. We really, really, really love it when you give us feedback, any kind of information, email us, text, whatever it is. It's very encouraging to know that these words don't fall on deaf ears. It's just so much fun to sit with you guys at the table every week. We just don't always know who's at the table with us.
Yeah.
Tonight we'll be talking to Rachel, and I think you can give your funny update, and then we'll just chit chat a little bit because, Rachel, is such a devout listener to the podcast. She's with
Hasn't
us
missed an
every
episode.
week, sitting at the table. But we'll get into why that's the case. But before we go any further, I did put on Facebook if anybody wanted to ask Rachel any questions. We did get a comment from Turtle.
Oh, Turtle.
Aw, hi, Turtle.
And he said the segment should be called "Hey Rachel Mitlow."
Okay.
I don't really get it either. But was that something he used to say to you or something like "Hey Rachel Mitlow"? Or?
If he did, that was like 20 years ago, Turtle. 20 years ago.
So our kids are funny.
They are. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to ask you guys something.
Wait, they're so funny. Like today, I was getting ready to go to the gym, and I can hear Joe and Bella messing with each other out in the hallway, and all of a sudden, like bang, bang, bang on my door, and it's Bella. Mom, Joe's gonna swallow a nickel.
And so Bella's in college, and Joe is also in college.
19 and 21
21
respectively.
and 19 years old, and Bella is tattling that Joe is threatening to swallow a
And the
nickel.
beauty of
Checks
that is
out.
what?
He wasn't.
But
He could have. I don't know. So I opened the door, and Joe's standing there with a mouthful of water doing his like, but Bella's like, I'm holding the nickel. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, they're just so funny. The bike story, but I don't know if that's.
so Rachel's cleaning the office, which is her great white whale.
Oh gosh. We should do a whole episode about that.
Why is it bad, honey?
Grieves my soul.
How so?
It is our office in our home that is not an office. It's sort
It's your
of
old garage, right?
yes, that we made into an office.
It's a lovely room. It's finished. It's carpeted. It's got a lot
you
of my
guys do that?
memorabilia.
I spend
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah,
I
okay.
spend a lot of
Well,
time in
and
there.
Poppy.
Okay.
That's why some
Yeah.
corners were shortened.
When we needed the smallest bedroom to become a nursery, which was our office, we converted the garage into an office, but then very quickly laptops and everything.
Just becomes
Took
a
over.
pile-on, and yeah.
Yeah. So it's become a catch-all room. And
Yeah.
it's 100% of the time, now like 99% of the time, like a complete disaster, because when you have college-age kids and they come home, where do they put all their extra stuff?
In there.
In the office. When somebody wants to donate stuff and I don't have anywhere to put it, where does it go? In the office. Blah, blah, blah. Like, anyhow, I was cleaning the office and I came across the tire pump for the bike
Yeah.
in my brain. So last year, Joe was gifted a really nice bike so that he could get around Oakland, even though he has his car. It's not conveniently
No.
parked.
It's a 20-minute walk from his parking
Right.
garage to his apartment.
So
Yeah.
he would ride
Bike's
his
a good
bike
idea.
from his car
Yeah.
to his apartment and back and forth. And so I was like, Joe's been home since May. I went, where's the bike? And so poor JoJo.
So you called me over and said, "Where's the bike?" And I went, So the two of us went to the top of the stairs to the basement, our finished basement where Joe resides, calls it his hole, which is really disrespectful for how nice our
It's a nice room.
room is. And I said, "Hey, bud, where's your bike?" And it was 20 seconds of silence, followed by, "Well, I suppose it's in Oakland." Yeah, I guess.
No, the babe has left it chained up down in Oakland somewhere.
In the parking garage, because he would ride it to the parking garage and get in his car.
Well,
I love the fact that it never occurred to him. Because, like, I left the bike at school
yeah.
one summer, but I didn't have a way to get it back.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I think. I know I didn't. But is it just, and I said, "Well, do you think it might still be there?" He's like, it could be, Dad. Now, here's the beauty of the story. You ready? You guys don't know the update. Is the bike there?
We don't know because he hasn't gone back
Yeah,
down.
he hasn't gone down.
Oh, they're just
And they
so
were on the
funny.
seesaw at the park when we went disc golfing.
Yes, because it was in a park. Grove City is,
Memorial Park.
most of it is in the park. Some of it is in the woods, but the part that's in
Yeah.
the park is actual
All T-pads now, by the way, concrete.
Nice.
like swings
Playground.
and playground area.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
they had seesaws, which you don't see those too often anymore.
No, you don't.
Because you can get hurt on those.
Right. So Bella wanted me to get on the seesaw with her, which I had trauma from that when I was in kindergarten. That's a different story. But then, so I did that with her. And then Joe was like, my turn. And he's twice the size of
Yeah.
literally in every dimension. And I said, do not flip her off or don't cherry bomb her where like you drop to the, whatever,
And
Do you know that was called Cherry Bomb?
No.
I did not know that.
whatever. And so
There's a song about that.
Yeah.
Like to hear it? Here you go.
Joe legitimately did not realize how much heavier he was than Bella. So he hit the ground and Bella went whoop and fell off the top of the seesaw and hit the ground.
But see, at 19, it could still be funny. 'Cause,
It was real funny
Right.
because then Joe got stuck on a swing. So
yeah, that was a weird swing.
they were like,
They had
ones?
the pump
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
and Joe got stuck. It's fine.
It was hilarious watching him because he had
Yeah.
to keep his knees up because his legs are so
Right.
long.
Yeah. So they are just funny kids and we laugh a lot together and that's great.
Yeah.
So-
I had a moment right before I came here where Abby and Ethan were doing similar stuff. You know, like they have their own relationship. It's a lot of fun to hear them. You know, they're banging around on my pocket door, like one of the you know how pocket doors are. I'm like, look, I don't care how much fun you have. Don't break my pocket door because those things are a pain
Yes.
to
Yeah.
fix. But that being said, it was fun to hear them, you know, having their own relationship and doing fun stuff like that. And for you guys, I was thinking like, yeah, the kids are a little bit older, but so they're now at home for the summer. They're both pretty much adults. You know, what is the, what are your feelings on that? Like what, it's great to have them home, but like, is it bittersweet? Is it like, this is kind of surreal? Is it, you know what I mean? Like,
It's not bittersweet at all. I mean, at times it's bothersome.
bothersome.
There's a lot more dishes in the sink. You know, I still walk around the house a lot more going, what does this thing do? And then I turn the lights out. But no, it's great. And it's not like, oh, these days are going so quickly. And just the other day, they were not for me. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, hey, it's cool. They're here.
Right.
Yeah, it's fun to have them home. And I think it feels good as a parent to be in that place in life where, yeah, your kids come home for the summer from college, and then in the fall they're going to go back, and then they're going to come home, and then they're going to go back, and then
Until Joe gets sent whoever knows where with the Army.
He told me Japan last time, but I think he was kidding.
Hard to say.
Japan would be cool.
That's too far.
It's very far, but everybody that I know that has been in the military and has gone to Japan, it's always their favorite place.
Well,
Yeah.
we'll see.
My father used to go there, called it Pange. That's who he was, man.
Is that, are you being for real?
Oh, yeah. He's like, I'm going to Pange.
Pange.
Yeah.
That is now forever what I'm going to call it.
Pange. But anyhow, so we do have Rachel with us. You didn't really give any other update. I mean, in general, do you want to give any update on how your life
How about
is?
you?
Me.
What about you?
Whoa. So I'm on summer break from the school year. Yay.
Yeah.
So, but like with my summers, I feel like I have to be very intentional on getting things done that I didn't get to do during the school year, but
Yeah.
also resting and enjoying not having the hectic schedule
Yeah.
of the school year, and that balance, and not feeling anxious about, well, I didn't get this done or I didn't get this done.
Cleaning the office.
Yes,
Yeah.
Because
was
that school year takes a toll on you.
it really does. I'm so tired. But I love
Yeah.
it. At the same time, like I do love my job. I love
Sure.
the babies. I love the job, but I also enjoy,
Yeah.
and I'm a summer baby. I love summers. I wish it was summer all the time.
Yeah.
Like we stood out on the deck the other night and just watched the lightning bugs,
Yeah, we did. That was fun.
and it was really cool. Like
I saw somebody post the other day. Does it feel like there's more lightning bugs than normal?
I heard they're being
we talk about
eradicated
that?
or something.
Because we've had that, like, I've had that conversation.
This year, but like I have been saying the past couple years, like, man, the lightning bugs have not been around. Because
Yeah.
I love lightning
Yeah.
bugs.
But this
Yeah.
year,
And
it
I've-
seems like there's a lot more.
That's
Well,
interesting because when I read that, I was like, I mean, I'm as much of a conspiracy theorist as the next.
No, you're
as
not a
anybody.
conspiracy theorist.
No, I'm
you're
a truth
right.
seeker.
You're ahead of the curve.
But when I read that, I was like, now we're trying to make something out of it. I'm like, I don't know, man. There's a lot. But when you think about it, you're like, there has been a lot of lightning bugs.
I just think it's been the past couple years have been pretty bare of lightning
Bereft,
bugs.
if you will.
Bereft, yes.
Bereft, B. Ryan said
Bereft.
bereft.
I said bereft.
So,
Yeah.
but I think it's a really important point that you make that we could look at for a second, which was, I mean, and I remembered it was like the second or third day of your summer. You're like, I have to give myself grace. I'm allowed to rest.
Right.
And it was one of those great husband moments where I'm like, did I indicate that she wasn't allowed to rest? No. I mean, it's all in my head.
Yeah.
But that you have to, it's okay to not do something.
Do you have?
Yeah.
Do you usually have a moment? Because you've been doing this for what, 8, 9 years? Something.
Six
this
years
is-
full time, 7.5.
Have
total.
you noticed maybe a pattern, or have you noticed at all a point in the summer, like, you know, you've now not been working for 2 weeks, and all of a sudden you're like, you know, like you have a moment where you finally feel like you're there and you're relaxed, and you know what I mean?
I would say no, because I always feel like we have stuff going on, and
You
like
guys are busy.
yeah, we're busy in general, but just not getting up at 5 in
Yeah.
the morning
Yeah.
is great, and I'm thankful for that for the summer. And you know, by the end of August, I don't want to talk about it yet, but like I also do love structure and routine.
Yeah.
And knowing like, okay, I'm going to get up at this time, eat my lunch at this time, be home at this time, go to bed at this time, whereas
Right.
summer, that can get really out the window,
Yeah.
which is also fine because I don't have to get up at
Sure.
6, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning if I don't want to, which I don't. So
Right. Amy's the same way, and I am to a certain extent, where like taking the time to just rest, you know, and it's like if like there's been times where we'll have the day and I'm like, why don't we do something? And she's like, we got to get all this stuff done. And I'm like, I know, but you know, we could,
Not going to remember that in 20 years.
yeah, but I get that feeling, you know, that you have to get stuff done and not just waste a day.
right. And I feel like last summer we took up big chunks of the summer refinishing our hardwood floors.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
We did the living room, and then I think
they
we
look
went on
great.
They
vacation.
do.
And then when we came back, we did the dining room, and then it was pretty much
that was
time
good
to
times.
go back to
Hit
school.
my head so many times on the dining room chandelier that one night.
Oh,
So my point is, last year we focused on the inside and didn't do anything to the outside, and I felt like this summer, like this is my summer to get outside and
yeah. Get that curb appeal.
yes.
Speaking of emotional needs, last summer, over the last several different things, I have purchased for Rachel hydrangeas. And last summer, even though I was using the deer and rabbit spray, I hadn't used it enough. Maybe it was what caused me to finally buy it. But they had eaten all of the hydrangea bulbs, blossoms.
Yeah.
And so this year I've been, they say like you spray it once, and then you can spray it like again in 3 weeks.
No,
I'm like
not
tw-
around here.
I'm
No.
like twice a week at least.
Yeah.
And it
I think
smells so
I was gonna
bad.
say, does it smell like death?
For
does.
just the day you spray it.
Just the day you spray it. Yeah.
And it really works. They haven't, I mean, nothing. They're
amazing.
perfect. But Rachel said the other day, she goes, I'm just letting you know that if they eat the hydrangeas this year, I'm going to cry.
They're so beautiful.
pressure.
And like last
Yeah.
summer, I think it was when we were on vacation, the deer ate them all and we came back.
Yeah.
You could just see where they had eaten every blossom and they never came back. Like they didn't have time to come back. And I was really anxious.
You
about
still
that. So-
talk to the deer every time you see them.
Well, because when I go to work, they're out in the front yard very early in the morning looking at me like I'm interrupting them. And so I'll say, good morning,
Yeah.
girls, please stay away from my flowers.
It's amazing how like in the wintertime, like we'll see deer all the time. They're but once like spring comes and Amy starts spraying, because like we have the camera, cameras set up, and they always pop up. But like now,
See, they're still in our yard. They just
Yeah.
don't eat our flowers.
yeah, I haven't seen one any on camera because they'll even come like you'll see them like come up to the front door and like walk across the front stoop,
Yes.
at our house, and I'm like, man,
We have a mama and 2 babies right now that are, kind of going between our backyards and stuff, and they're so
We assume
cute.
it's a mama. Could be like an aunt.
No, they were. Well, the babies were nursing from her, so I hope they know
I
who
mean,
she
it's
is.
2024, Rachel.
I don't know why you're
Oh,
so
man.
close-minded.
Does anybody know when gladiolas bloom?
ours just did.
Oh, okay. Because the deer, I think, ate all the mine. So
Those are pretty too.
yeah,
Those
I
are one of the
wouldn't know. I
Pretty
would assume.
tasty, right?
Well, like they even eat stuff that they're not supposed to around here.
Children.
True. Each other. Came across one the other day. Just
There was a leg in our yard last
Yes,
week.
That's true.
So gross.
just
You
a
never
deer
found
leg.
the 3-legged deer?
I never went looking for it.
5-fingered man.
Yikes.
No, 6.
Gross.
That 5-fingered man.
What are we,
he's,
farmers? Oh, he's a lazy one. But Rachel, you talk about your work week, and we were thinking about not your work week, your work and your job. Why don't you just tell people in general what you do?
So I am a classroom aide in the preschool department of the Western Pennsylvania School for the Deaf. So I work in the 3-year-old classroom.
And not everybody wants to do that.
I would never do that.
They're so cute. They're
That's
a bunch
great.
of babes.
I mean, I remember when Maggie was 3, and there was one of her. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you love her.
and she
I love her very much.
and she had all of her senses. And I'm not making fun. It's just
no, yeah.
Sounds like
Yeah.
you could be, but I know you're
Yeah,
not.
I know you're
no,
not.
like she
Yeah.
these kids are legitimately it's hard.
They're
Yeah.
up against it.
They're up against
Yeah.
it, and
Yeah.
some of the stories you tell are just heartbreaking and frustrating at times.
Oh,
know?
like you had beer in a backpack this year.
Yep.
So we're not using names,
What?
so she's not breaking any HIPAA stuff.
yeah. Why do because the parents are some of the worst too. Like
Right.
I'm not saying the kids are the worst. The parents are terrible.
I mean, you're dealing in any school situation, or you're dealing with families.
Life
and-
isn't easy.
right. Everybody's
Life is not easy.
trying to do
Got a
the
special
best
needs
they
kids.
can.
Hard enough to have a some
don't
needs
know.
kid.
So not everybody's trying as hard as they can. Let's. Be
I've never
clear
tried
about
as hard as
that.
I can.
Yeah, like
No,
these
but-
parents are not trying as hard as they can,
That's true.
and they're not doing the best they can with what they have. I don't mean to be like that. I'm just
Coming
saying,
across strong though. You're
What
not
No, I'm
avoiding
just
it.
being I'm
What
just
you've
being
dis-
very careful about what I talk about or what I say
sure,
about
sure.
Our environment,
Look,
and I can't say
Look,
anything.
Look.
Brian's going to tell you how it is.
Okay.
If anybody gives you crap Tell them to come see me.
Okay,
So we can
nobody
talk about
does.
whatever we want here. Just don't name names.
Nobody does.
Brian
Okay.
just starts screaming about routing at these parents.
If you knew anything about logistics,
You would beep boop, beep boop. Is what Brian would say.
and then it still wouldn't be fixed.
No, but I kind of like, somebody asked me what it was like, and I said, well, start running, physically running at 7:30 in the morning, and don't stop until 3:30 in the afternoon. And
Yeah,
that
but you
is
get a
what-
break for lunch.
Sure.
How long?
30 minutes.
And how much of that do you spend eating?
20. But
Isn't
it's
it,
fine.
isn't it great when people bring
that's a
tuna
day.
sandwiches and
That's a
take their
day.
take their shoes off?
Wait, what?
What?
Wasn't there something last year like you had the
I like to eat lunch completely by myself. And that's just
Yeah,
because
in
it's the
peace.
only 30 minutes
Yeah.
of the day that
Because you don't take a break.
I'm not switching between
Yeah.
languages and I'm not trying to whatever.
that's
Yeah.
an onslaught of like sensory overload, I would imagine, for
Yeah.
most of the day.
And I like to read
Mm-hmm.
my book and just be quiet for that
It's
short
your only
time.
it's your only quiet moment.
Yes.
Which is ironic.
And so I sometimes there's an overlap in scheduling and somebody would have to share the same space with me and it makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine.
Well, and she works with some people who do sign language. So if she's trying to eat her lunch and they want to talk, well, she has to use her hands.
Right.
Well,
Right.
it's hard to put your hands on a fork in your mouth
Yeah.
while you're signing.
Just
Trust
like-
me.
yeah.
I know. So, Rachel, how
Yes.
many body fluids did you come in contact with this year at work?
All of them.
Every day?
Can you list them?
Let's see.
Not every day.
Pee,
Sure.
poop,
What was the
blood,
blood? Sure.
Stomach bile?
stomach juice.
Stomach juice. I love when you say juice because it was neck juice the one year. You didn't have any neck
I
juice
didn't have any
this
neck
year.
juice this year,
What
but
is neck juice?
so I had one time I had a babe that started the year with a trach
Tracheotomy?
tube
Oh yeah.
and then grew out of it, which is great.
Yes.
But when you take it out, it's like if you've ever seen somebody with their ear pierced, when you take the earring out, you still have the hole.
Right.
And so you have to wait for that to heal. So
Right.
that's a hole into your esophagus. So your saliva is still going to come out of
Wow.
that.
It'll seep.
Oh,
Well-
that's a horrible
moist?
word.
And the babe knew, I mean, let's be real. Kids are going to put their fingers in whatever holes they can get to.
Right.
So it was very often.
Kids,
I would tell this babe, get your finger out of your neck hole.
Some people
and
pay for
like,
that.
get your finger out of your neck hole.
So like the boy or the person that was doing it was
would
just
play with the right. I mean, it was covered for a while, but then that comes off because we're playing and running
Yeah.
around, and then there's just
what was it
Yeah.
covered with? Like a
but just gauze,
Silly
like a
putty.
Band-Aid, like a gauze.
Chewing gum if I was working with them.
I can confirm I would never do that.
or her.
Again.
And then this year we had a babe with a feeding tube, and so it's just a tube that goes directly to your stomach that we use to feed and give water, and the end of it opened, and everything in the kid's stomach.
So again, not only are some of these kids deaf or hearing impaired, they also have can have some other pretty significant disabilities
challenges?
or
Sure.
behavioral challenges.
Yes.
Yeah. So you've talked about the bodily fluids. What are some of the behavioral challenges that you come up against? I mean, I can't imagine how frustrating it would be for a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Well, that's just it. They're frustrated because a lot of our kids come to school and don't have the communication skills
Yeah.
because they don't know how to sign yet, or they
right.
don't know how
So
to
they're trapped in their own brain.
use their equipment or whatever it is.
Right.
So when you take a toddler that is frustrated, they're gonna scratch or bite or pull your hair or kick
Right.
or
Do
whatever
whatever they can.
Right, like they're
Yeah.
not doing it to be bad. That's just how they're
Right.
trying to get your attention. So
Yeah.
that we can curb that fairly quickly. And yeah, so that's the really amazing part of my job is that when you see those light bulb moments when they realize like,
Yeah.
hey, this language will get me what I want, then it's like, oh, I'm going to do that all the time.
And as
you
the
know,
language improves, the behavior can as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's really cool to see them, they're so cute. Gosh, they're such babes. They come in and they have their little cubbies and we put their names in their cubbies. And of course they can't recognize their own name when they first start, but very quickly, like by the second month of school, they go right up to their own cubby and they'll, point to their name and be able to recognize it. And, so it's really cute.
And you said you work with 3-year-olds.
Yes.
I mean, that is really rewarding to see all the hard work come to fruition and like see things like click in their
Yeah.
brains, Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah.
And you get, we talked a little bit about parents earlier, but you get some great moments with parents, like when they'll come and there's like a parent day and they get to observe for a little bit. And there's both gratifying when they see the kid necessarily not behaving great, but then like you had one kid that was just a wild child, for lack of a better term, and that you were you were like his whisperer and you could control him, but nobody else necessarily could,
yeah.
which is a problem because you're not a one-on-one aide.
Right.
But then like the parents were there and they saw him. Oh no, like didn't that child go up and like give hugs?
Everybody came up and gave that baby hugs, and he was giving them hugs back, and his parents were just, tearing up with joy that these kids were embracing their child, and it was
Who
just
has,
really
who has
cool.
had
big
his
deal.
Yeah.
fair share of issues and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Tell us, Rachel, what is a double unicorn?
I don't know.
Yes, you do know.
No, I don't.
All right, then I'll say it. So Rachel has a boss who is a good friend of hers, and they're a good team. And again, Rachel's just an aide. That's just she's a paraprofessional. Is that the term we use? She's not even a professional.
I'm a paraprofessional.
Yeah, like a parachute. I don't know. Anyhow, pair of shoes. So the point of the story is she has a boss, and then the boss has a boss, which was her old boss. I said boss too much. That woman was in a meeting with higher ups. So it's not even her immediate boss. And one of the highest ups people said, "Oh, that Rachel Mitlow, she sure is a double unicorn, huh?"
Okay.
Meaning,
I keep glitter in my pockets.
that's true. She-
And I throw it at children.
no, that's how rare of an employee
Right.
she is.
Right.
And it bothers her that she gets that moniker.
I'm just doing my job.
So where does that come from growing up?
What?
Like not being able to like receive praise and an acknowledgement of
Well, she
like
never
really
had praise or
really good
acknowledgement
work.
when she was growing up.
I feel like I've always had a really good work ethic, even though I wasn't a really great kid. Like when I did start having jobs, I was always good and proficient at my jobs and take it very seriously. But like, I really do feel like I go to work and I do my job and I do what I'm supposed to. Like it shouldn't be double unicorn that I'm doing what you asked me to do. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
But I feel like you've had so much time in ministry as far as like with Young Life, and you know how to, like, you've taken kids to camp, stuff like that. And I think there's a humility that comes with that kind of a leading. One of my friends, youth leaders, she talked about seeing the need and being like a servant leader, and I feel like that's what you are, is that probably, maybe more servant than leader.
Doesn't want to be a leader at all.
Yeah, but there's that desire to lead by example by doing the job that you are there to do. But you're also very humble about it as far as like, I'm just doing my job. That's a really humble thing, to be able to say that.
But I think that's a really astute point, that you do go through your workday and you say what's needed. And if a coworker, let alone a boss, comes up to you and says, "Hey, Rachel, can you?" You never once say, "Well, that's not a part of my job description."
right.
Like the first filter is, does it need to be done? Where can I serve?
See the
Where can I
need.
make the
See
day
the
better? See the need.
Right.
Whereas literally other people will be like, "But that's not my job."
Right.
Or I'm on my, when people say like, "Well, I'm on my break." And you're like, break? Like Rachel doesn't take a break because it'll fall apart.
Right.
And that's not an arrogant thing.
Right.
No, it's like
Well, it's first of all, it's a safety thing. You can't leave
that
one
it's-
teacher alone with 9 children to go do whatever. You know what I mean?
right.
Like, so it's a safety.
It's just easier
whatever.
to not.
Right.
Yeah.
'Cause what am I going to do? Like, I mean, it's here. If I do have to go to the bathroom or something, I can and
you?
come right back. No, I don't.
Thank
but
you.
if I did, I would. But like, if I go to check my phone, well, that we don't really have Wi-Fi in my building, so I can't really. What am I gonna look at on my phone? I don't have anything
Right.
to do.
I'm not arguing with you.
I know.
Right. Right.
I know.
I'm saying other people do look at their phone. Other people do
Right.
take their breaks
Right.
because
And
that's
they're
their right.
entitled to
They
it,
are
yeah.
entitled to it. But that's not what the way you look at it. Brian's very right. You say, well, what needs to be done? So I'll go do it.
So we've talked, about the emotional need of support, which Rachel, you have a very low need of support. But do you have a high need of encouragement? Or
I think we've talked about like it's backwards, like because Bella, Bella has a high need of support, but not encouragement,
Correct.
and Rachel likes to be encouraged but not supported.
But I was wondering, like, is one of your highest needs encouragement, or no?
What do you keep looking at me for?
Because I don't remember. I mean, I
Oh,
think my
but just think
highest
about
was
it.
security, and then what?
Yeah, security. Bull.
I think maybe that was one of the highest ones.
I guess I'm just like,
Comfort, affection.
No.
no, I'm just curious because, being called a double unicorn would, one, be encouraging.
No.
No?
No offense. I don't mean to step on you. No, encouraging is, hey, Rachel, I believe you can get to be a double unicorn.
Okay.
It's appreciation, and to a degree, it's
Appreciation.
respect.
Well, and
Which she doesn't have a high need for respect.
Well, and I was also going to say it does give the other need maybe for security. Like, oh, I'm doing a good job that affirms, like, I'm in a good place with my, leadership and supervisors and whatnot,
Yes, but
It's interesting.
yeah.
Were you in a butt?
Just going back to the point, like, I don't need to be,
Right.
Does it
yay.
make you uncomfortable
Yes.
right now, us talking about you like
Yes.
this and praise and pointing out good things about
Yes.
you?
Rachel,
you're
Does it really?
awesome.
I know. Now I'm so uncomfortable.
So let's make her more comfortable. Let's talk about the book. So
Oh, yeah.
I've written a book. I don't know if you guys have heard.
Rachel's in it.
Rachel's predominantly in this book.
I've heard of it.
And here's something I don't think anybody at the table knows. When I'm talking in the book about how we divided up our responsibilities, and I pointed out that obviously Rachel was going to be on point with Trey, or else I was talking about the hospital and how when Rachel was in the hospital, she didn't want any visitors. It's bunker down. It's go to war. And I'm like, I got to kill some time. I'm meeting people on the street, bringing
Yeah.
them in, like whatever I could do to kill the time. And there's a line in the book where I said, Rachel doesn't like to be overwhelmed by people or intruded upon by people she knows and loves, let alone perfect strangers.
Yes.
So when the residents would barge in and stuff like that. And so then I think I wrote in one of the edits, I said, I think I want to take this out because it portrays Rachel. It sounds like I'm speaking negatively about Rachel, saying like, she doesn't even like the people she loves, let alone the people she doesn't love. And here's funny, as we sit here, I don't know if we took it out. Sonia.
I don't know.
So people ask me, they're like, well, what does Rachel say about it? And she says, it's your book. Write the book. Enjoy the book. But how has it been? People have asked me, like, well, how's she dealing with it?
I mean, I think that you said it. Like, okay. Sorry. So it's been a long project coming. Like, it's not like you just started writing a book. It's
Right.
been for years and years and years. And having lived through the experience and talking with you, like, I know.
You've been a part of the journey.
Right. And, so it is exciting to see it come to fruition. I feel like I don't have much to offer in that. Like, I'm not going to sit down and do your edits for you or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's not much.
Well, just to make sure. But just for everybody at the table,
Yeah.
the most she and I have talked about this was when I decided to hire Christian Editing and Design. And right before I did, I said, we got to talk. Because
Yeah.
this is going to happen here.
Yeah.
Do you want ultimate editing power? Do you want veto power? Do you want whatever? And she was like, nope, it's all yours. So that's the extent of it. So this is live husband-wife stuff going on right here.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was funny the other day we were talking about one of the examples in the book, and I was like, well, that wasn't an oncology.
I wrote it's a checkup in the book.
An
Yeah.
oncology appointment. That was for nephrology. And you were like, what? I'm like, yeah, that was the kidney doctor, not the cancer doctor. And you were like,
Who was it that we were talking to recently that was like, oh, and then Rachel should write the book after you?
Oh, that was me.
Yeah.
Well, out of that exact conversation.
Yeah.
that I should write a book from my perspective to see how different it would be from his. But I mean, in the long run, it doesn't matter if it was an oncology or a nephrology appointment.
Sure.
Like, just the fact that it happened, whatever.
Well, I
Like,
said we would call it synoptic stand because she would read my book, but then write her version of it, sort of like the Gospels. And, because our perception is completely different. But you were saying how, you've been along for the ride, but how much of it is, this is my deal, but how much of it is you don't want to entertain the stories that are in the book, to revisit them.
Well, yeah, that's a big part of it. I was there the first time. I don't need to relive
Saw the
it.
movie.
I know how it ends.
Yeah.
It's fine. Like, I don't want to be in that headspace again. Like, I don't need to be reminded of weeks at a time in a hospital or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
Have you read it or just
no.
yeah.
I've seen parts of it
Yeah.
that he's been like, what do you think of this or that or whatever, but not,
Just little tidbits.
Yeah.
not the whole way through. Because I kind of feel like, not that it's the same, but like when you joked about how I don't listen to this podcast, and I don't, well, because we talk all the time. Like, I know what you're talking about. And when you come home from the podcast and I say, how'd it go? And you tell me how it went. Like, I don't know. Plus, I don't listen to podcasts. Sorry, friends.
Was that era 10, 11 years ago now?
No, it was 10 to 14 years ago. He
10 to
passed away in 2014.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
He was
that-
diagnosed in 10
So 10 years ago, he passed away.
in
Yes.
November.
Wow.
To lighten the mood a little.
Lighten the mood a little. Let's do it. Like
That was so fast.
I was just thinking, wow, let's lighten the mood.
So tonight I was hanging out with Mike P.
Mike P.
Mike P.
We should have him back on.
And I was talking.
Love that kid. I don't think we've had him on.
I think we.
I don't think he's been
Oh.
on.
We've
We
talked
should have
about
Mike
it.
P. Yeah, Mike P. Got to be on the show.
Him and Big Guy together would be fun.
Marilyn, you're
Oh,
watching
gosh.
right now. Get Mike P.
She's
up
at
in
the
here.
table. She's not watching.
Okay.
But anyhow, we were hanging out, and there were people there that didn't know anything about the book, and so I was telling them about the book and everything else. And Mike P goes, he said, "So is there a part like when it's okay to be funny?" And I said, "Yeah, there's actually a chapter called It's Okay to Laugh." He goes, oh, "Okay, good, but I don't mean that. I mean like when it's really awkward, and then like you try to lighten the mood with a joke, like." When's the best time to have that timing? Because I seem to always do it at the wrong time.
Aw, he's such a babe.
But he doesn't overthink anything.
No, the kid's cool
Yeah,
as
he
a
just-
cucumber.
I love Mike P.
He's a babe. But all the books, I mean, it has been exciting, and it's been cool to see the process of,
And you've been unbelievably supportive.
yes, and how it's like, there's different people in the publishing thingy.
Company.
Yes.
Right. The different roles that of people that he's interacting with. Is that what you mean? Like
Yes. Like there's an
and
editor,
artistic, yeah, that kind of stuff.
yeah, that
Sandy.
kind of stuff.
So it was interesting because our content editor is the one who was very like rough, and she's the one that said that the "How to Help Them Stand" section should be called "Hey Christians."
Yeah.
But then now my line editor, Melissa, with every email to me, it's Jay and Rachel, and like, and one of the comments was, "Wow, Rachel seems like an amazing mother."
She
you're-
really is.
And so it's just interesting. Well, the one, oh, well, Jay's the client. I'm going to talk to Jay. And then Melissa's like, no, this is a Jay and Rachel thing. And so it's Jay and Rachel. So that's been a fun part of the process.
Oh, interesting.
But it's been how they said, like, well, you need to be ready to go, speak in churches or go travel and talk about the book. And I'm like, what? I'm not, no, what? No, no,
No.
no, no.
No, Rachel, no go.
What are you most
No.
looking forward to on your vacation?
Ooh, good one.
Where are we going?
Huh?
Where are we going?
Ooh, we're going to St. Lucia. We found it on a map.
Nice.
It's really far.
It's kind of like right equal to Venezuela, or as my people like to say, Venezuela.
And now Nicaragua.
So, there's a couple things. I'm so excited for the beach. I love the ocean, and it's going to be warm and
Ocean.
yes, hellotion. I'm really excited, and this is going to sound weird because it's not for me, but it's for Jay Mitlow that he gets to completely unplug and relax.
Which I do have to look up how films work down there.
Okay.
Do you
Ruined.
think,
I'm not
Jay,
going.
that you will be able to do that?
Yeah, certainly within the first 5 days.
Yeah.
And I'm not even saying like, so a lot of times people think like, oh, you work on Sundays. Ha ha ha. What do you do the other 6 days? And it's not like that at all. And it's not bad things.
Right.
It's just a lot. Like even,
Right.
Well,
You
James
know-
just mentioned at the beginning of the episode how there's so many things just happening,
So
right now,
random,
just
so
random and
You
coming at
you interact with so many people.
right. And like today we're doing Tomorrow we're doing a different podcast. Friday we're hosting a birthday party. Saturday we're doing a wedding. Sunday we have church, and then Sunday dinner with the family. Like it's always
Yep.
a lot. And like with the book and with Young Life and with the church, and it's always
Disc golf course.
this golf course. Like it's always
Yeah.
something, and somebody always needs something, which is great. And it's all good. Those are all good things, and we're glad to do it. But he never gets to, even if we're sitting on the couch, like watching a show or something, oh, who needs me now? Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like,
No,
so,
and I'm excited to be able to give you 100% of all my attention for 7 straight days.
which reminds me, I need to go to the bookstore and buy some books.
Which I don't know if I mentioned this at the table before, and this is maybe a good way to wrap up our time with Rachel. You got. Oh wait, we can keep going if you want to keep going. She just left. But you guys sort of heard and probably got a pretty good understanding. You can tell me if I've said this on the podcast or just in person, of Rachel's workday. And that she is surrounded by body fluids and children, and some people that work
Noise and-
hard, and some people that maybe are just different, and everything else, and it's going crazy, and everything's crazy, and people hanging on her, and body fluids, and everything else. While I'm sitting at home on a computer on my couch by myself all day, and so first of all, that's role reversal. I should be around people all day. I don't care about body fluids. It's fine. Rachel loves to be by herself, so she walks in the door. Well, what do I want? I want a little affection.
Right.
I
Let's
want
interact.
I need attention. I do whatever else.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yep.
a once again a sexual stereotype, like male female stuff. Like she comes home from work, and I'm like, I've just been sitting here alone all day, and you're like, just give me 5 minutes. And by 5 minutes, I mean I'll see you Friday.
Well, first we play the what's that stain game on my
That is
shirt.
fun.
Whatever I wear home, he'll come up and he'll want a hug, and he'll be like, wait. Ooh, is that food or what? Or no?
Sometimes I sniff it.
But you guys have recognized it
Mm-hmm.
and you've communicated it, and going on 7 years this coming year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like this could break a couple. Like you could have that dynamic where you're just not communicating or meeting each other's needs,
Mm-hmm.
and something like this.
I will say it is, and this will be the last thing, but it is good. We do have to find a balance because, and we do well at it. That
Better than Joe and Bill on a seesaw. Go on.
right? That I could be resentful of him that by the time I'm eating lunch, he's just getting up for the day.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Do you?
No.
She does
There's
not.
never a time.
Nope.
No. Or he could be resentful that when I get home, I'm so tired, I'm done. Like,
Right.
nobody touch me, like that kind of thing. Like, but we found a good balance, I think.
The joke
And-
is, in September, I say goodbye to her, and I tell her I'll see her in June
Right.
because she's checked out and
Right.
she services for Saturdays.
Yeah, I'm good.
Right. But the first year she worked full time was really hard because I would be like, she's upset. I either have to fix it or it's my fault. And so like now I'm like, wow, she's in a terrible way. All right, I'm going to go work on the disc golf course. Like I can't fix it. It's not my fault. She doesn't want my comfort.
Right.
I'm out.
But that's the part.
We had to get
that's
to.
the thing.
Though I will say it has been different since you retired from coaching. You're home a lot more because, like, for the past few years, you wouldn't even be home when I get home from school until like 5:30 or 6. Whereas now you're home. Not every day, but you're pretty much home when I get home. But I mean, we do work at finding that balance of appreciating what the other one is doing.
Yeah.
And or needing.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, hold on. Got to put on my glasses. I can't see the paper.
Are there any disc golf courses in St. Lucia?
No.
Yeah.
This is nice.
I'm taking a disc though.
We got to take the glitch to the
That's
beach.
right.
This is nice paper.
Try not to lose that one.
It is
Yeah.
great paper.
It's good paper. This is more than 20 pounds.
Cart stuff.
You know that more than 20 pounds.
That's it for episode 250. Join us next Wednesday live at 8:30-ish for episode 251. Between now and then, please give us a like or follow on social media and visit us at lunchtimeinrome.com. While there, take our relational needs questionnaire. Thanks for joining us at the table for Lunchtime in Rome.
We won't see you next week.
Nope.
2 weeks.
Oh, you set me up for failure,
Yeah,
sucker.
that's not a great
No.
Too bad.
Hold on, let's do it again. That's it for episode 250. Join us in 2 weeks live at 8:30ish for episode 251.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.